So we're going to hear pray right now. I'm going to light our candle. And as soon as that song is over, I'm going to invite Reverend Catherine to unmute because she's in Greensboro. And she's going to open our service with prayer. Thanks for being here today.
Going through a tough time, and it was exactly what I needed to bring comfort. When you are in doubt and darkness surrounds you, pray. When heartache consumes you, no one to turn to, pray. I listen to your pain. I hear you call my name. There's no judgment in my eyes, just a purifying flame. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray. Reach out your hand, I'm gonna carry you, pray. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray, and I will give you rest. When problems engulf you and everyone depends on you, pray. When guilt suffocates you and loved ones desert you, pray. I feel you tear apart. Fear is gripping at your heart. There's no judgment in my eyes. Come to me, I'm where you start. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray. Reach out your hand and I'm gonna carry you, pray. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray, and I will give you rest. I will give you rest. I hear the curtain fall out of control, spinning like a ball. You've given it your all, but now I'm waiting for your call. It is true, prayer does work, but we truly do need to believe in it. We do need to surrender to it. Come unto me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest. I hope that touches your heart today. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray. Reach out your hand, I'm gonna carry you, pray. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray, and I will give you rest.
Beautiful. So let us pray. Dear gracious God, the universal spirit that expresses through all life, we open our minds and hearts to your presence here today. We gather filled with gratitude for the life of our beloved Hanna. for the love she was made of and so freely shared with us for so many years. Hanna's journey inspired us all, her courage, her perseverance, her faithfulness. Many of us know her as an amazing yoga instructor. Those of us who knew her later in life had the privilege of witnessing the strength and resilience with which she faced difficult physical challenges. And now, may we all be free of the idea of Hanna as one weighed down by the struggles of life on this earthly plane, and lift our vision to a new and greater experience of life that she has now entered. From this point forward, let us think of Hanna as an eternal spirit, free of every limitation, more alive than ever before, always present, always filled with joy. Hanna left us a legacy, and I believe it's beautifully expressed by the poet Merritt Malloy. Imagine these words being spoken to each of us personally by Hanna herself. When I am gone from your sight, give what's left of me away to children and old folks waiting to die. And if you need to cry, cry for the brother or sister who is walking through life beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known and loved. If you would not forget me, let me live in your eyes and not your mind. You can love me most by letting your hand touch another hand, by letting your body touch another body, and by letting go of your children who need to be free. Love does not die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. We hear this, we know this, we give thanks in celebration of the living Christ Spirit within and all around every one of us. And so it is. Amen.
I spent most of the time that I got to visit with Hanna visiting her in her garden home off of 24. Most of my visits were much like what I just had to do in the past 5 minutes. I was going to fix the technology at her house so that she could join us. And seeing some of the photographs and seeing the videos that I've been able to see, and we're going to watch one of those videos in a moment. I'm jealous that you got to know Hanna in a way where she was more physically alive. And yet I hold that paradox that I am joyful that I got to know her because Hanna was very spiritually alive. Hanna joined us in this amazing manifest world in physical life on November 8th, 1931. She had an incredibly long life, and she had lots and lots of life in her years. You know, some people don't get to live. You know, they're physically alive, but they don't get to love the way Hanna got to love. They don't get to reach out and touch as many lives as Hanna got to reach out and touch. She was a dedicated yoga teacher. She was a loving member of this community for a very long time. And she is missed, and she will be missed. But as in Catherine's beautiful prayer, we will love each other a little bit harder in memory of Hanna. I found this quote today from the Dalai Lama. So someone asked me briefly as we were coming in. They said, they whispered, "Are you the minister?" And I was like, "Yes." "Can I read something from the Bhagavad Gita?" "Yes, please do." Because we know that there are many paths to reach the truth. And here at Unity, we don't believe that we have the one and only way. We think that just like there are a number of spokes on a bicycle that go to the center of the wheel, there are many paths that get to the truth. And just like that wheel is stronger because there are many spokes, we know that we are stronger in life when we welcome other traditions. Now, the tradition here is we talk about the Christ. We talk about the metaphysics of Jesus. But I wanted to turn to something that the Dalai Lama wrote today because it seems appropriate. Aging destroys youth. Sickness destroys health. Degeneration of life destroys all excellent qualities, and death destroys life. Even if you are a great runner, you cannot run away from death. You cannot stop death with your wealth, through your magic performances or recitation of mantras or even medicines. Therefore, it is wise to prepare for your death. We all have to prepare for the physical end, but we know here at Unity that life is eternal, spiritual life, that which calls us forth from this. And we have a poem that is, it even went to the moon. This poem went to the moon. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me, and the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever we are, God is breathing us in this moment. And I know that Hanna was an individualized expression of the divine because she showed up and she loved hard. And I am blessed that as I stepped into this ministry, that she was here to welcome me with her gentleness and with a grace of showing me how it is to live and to age in a body that doesn't always serve the way it once did. By the time I met her, Hanna was a huge fan of books on tape that she would get from the Library for the Blind, because her macular degeneration had gotten so bad she really couldn't even operate the computer very well. That's why I had to go over multiple times to try and get everything reset so she could show up to church. Because if Hanna was not showing up on the Zoom screen before we had service, everyone was asking where Hanna was. And so I would take time to go and be with her because that was a blessing to me. And I just realized I didn't introduce myself to some of you guys. I'm Reverend Todd. And I'm delighted that you were with us today. We're going to watch a video now. And then we're going to listen to a song that I found online that it's just beautiful to me. And it echoes the prayer that Reverend Catherine just gave. And it asks us not to have tears of sorrow, but to have tears of joy. And they sing it in German, and then it is echoed in English. And if you didn't know, Hanna was from Germany originally. So it seemed fitting. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to invite some of you to share, if you would like to. And we'll share as long as we need to, and then we're gonna have a closing. We'll have another song. We'll have a closing prayer and some more music, and we've got a spread of food out there so we can all hug one another and share and live into Hannah's legacy of loving one another. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yes.
This is unconventional. I'm so glad. I don't think Hannah would have wanted it any other way. So, Kath, I think you're going to play a video now for all of us.
So we're going to do a gentle yoga class today that is designed for people mostly over 50. This is not a beginner's class, so I want to make sure that beginner people should not take this class. And I want to dedicate this class to my very good friend Alana. Thank you so much. She talked me into this. And I also want to thank Janet for allowing us to be here. So this is a beautiful space. So for a moment, let's just close the eyes and be here now, in this very moment. Take a little body scan. See what your body, mind, spirit feels like at this moment. And maybe make an intention for this class, if you want to see what you would like to achieve during the yoga practice. I want to mention one word, which is a Sanskrit word, and it's called ahimsa, and it means non-violence. So please be cautious with your body. Don't hurt yourself. If you do, hold back. If anything hurts, hold back. So be very cautious with your body. The body is really smart. It tells you just about everything. So please listen to the body. Keeping your eyes closed, the spine nice and long, because that's part of the yoga practice. And just connect with your breathing, with your three-part yogic breathing. So the yogic breath starts always with the belly. So as you inhale, you push the belly forward. You bring the breath into the lower ribs, which opens the lower ribs. And then you bring the breath all the way into the upper chest, opening the shoulders, pushing them back a little bit. And then exhaling slowly, and at the end of the breath, push the belly towards the spine. And then start over. So let's do this three-part breathing for just a few moments. As you know, breathing is very healing. It creates prana, life force. It takes in lots of energy and it oxygenates the body. So it's a really good practice to go through. And be here now. Be in the moment throughout the yoga practice and continue with the breathing throughout the yoga practice.
gekommen ist und ich meine Augen schließe und mich mein Löwenmut verlässt. Wenn der Tag gekommen ist und ich mit dem Wasser fließe, hoffe ich, dass ihr mich nicht vergesst. Ich will keine Trauer reden, ich will keine Tränen sehen, kein Chor, der Halleluja singt. Ich will, dass ihr ihr feiert, ich will, dass ihr tanzt mit nem Lächeln im Blick und nem Drink in der Hand. Ein Heißluftballon, auf dem riesengroß steht, das Leben ist schön, auch wenn es vergeht. Und wenn ihr schon weint, dann bitte vor Glück, dann bin ich da oben und ich sing mit euch mit.
You to dance with a smile in your eye and a drink in your hands, a hot air balloon on which large letters stand. Life is beautiful even in the end. If you should cry, then please cry for joy. I'll be above you and I'll sing along.
Zieht die schönsten Kleider an und kommt in den hellsten Farben, wie 1000 Lichter in der Nacht. Jeden einzelnen von euch werde ich immer bei mir tragen, auch wenn ich euch irgendwann verlasse. Ich will keine Trauer reden, ich will keine Tränen sehen, kein Chor der Halleluja singt. Ich will, dass ihr feiert, ich will, dass ihr tanzt mit nem Lächeln im Blick und nem Drink in der Hand. Ein Heißluftballon, auf dem riesengroß steht, das Leben ist schön, auch wenn es vergeht. Und wenn ihr schon weint, dann bitte vor Glück, dann bin ich da oben und ich sing mit euch mit.
I want you to dance with a smile in your eye and a drink in your hands, a hot air balloon on which large letters stand. Life is beautiful even in the end. If you should cry, then please cry for joy. I'll be above you and I'll sing along.
Sing mit euch mit. Ich will, dass ihr feiert, ich will, dass ihr tanzt mit nem Lächeln im Blick und nem Drink in der Hand. Ein Heißluftballon, auf dem riesengroß steht, das Leben ist schön, auch wenn es vergeht. Wenn ihr schon weint, dann bitte vor Glück, dann bin ich da oben und sing mit euch mit.
I'll sing along, yeah.
Ich sing mit euch mit.
I'll sing along.
Really good. Yeah.
Life is beautiful. We're going to spotlight Betsy because if you're going to have tears, they have to be tears of joy. And Hannah, one of her favorite things that we did here at Crystal Coast Unity is we have Laughter Club. And so Betsy's going to talk to us a little bit about Laughter Club and start our remembrances off about Hannah, and then probably ask y'all to laugh a little bit. How unconventional is that?
Hey, Betsy. Thank you. And how fitting that today's daily word is memories. One line in particular from the devotional spoke to me. Thoughts and feelings arise, giving me insights into how I became the person I am today.
It is especially meaningful for me because Hanna played a pivotal role in who I am today. For those who do not know me, I am a certified laughter yoga instructor, teaching others how to laugh for no reason. I taught at yoga studios and retirement facilities and for cancer support groups periodically, but what I really wanted was a weekly laughter club. When I asked Reverend Catherine if I could do it here at Unity, she agreed to give it a trial run. And Hanna came to that first gathering. I remember wondering how Hanna, who I only knew as a yoga instructor and saw her at church, and I wasn't sure how she would react. Hanna not only embraced it, but she encouraged me to continue. She became a regular every week. And even as her physical abilities waned, she still showed up. I remember one especially vibrant laughter yoga session when we brought Laughter Club to her house. And she would share with me that she appreciated the pain relief she could get through laughter. So Reverend Todd has asked me to demonstrate how Hanna embraced it. To be able to laugh for no reason, I use what are called laughter games. And one of Hanna's favorites is something called Tiny Measure. And that means you can laugh as little or as much as you want. And I'm going to demonstrate that in one more piece, and then we'll put it all together. So, Tiny Measure means you can laugh just a little bit or a lot, or as Hanna would do. She was amazing. Now, at the end of each laughter game, which will go much longer than this, I would bring it to a close by clapping my hands and saying, very good, yay. Well, Hanna had a much better way of doing this. She would go, very good, yay, and open her heart center. And she did it with a big grin on her face. She was just amazing. So will you put it all together with me to make a joyful noise for Hanna, as much or as little as you want? Very good, very good. Very good, yay! Thank you so much for allowing me to share how Hanna not only encouraged me to pursue my dream, but taught me how to open my own heart center. Namaste.
Thank you, Betsy. So now I want to invite Marcy to come up. Marcy, where are you, Marcy? You want to come on up? Marcy has some stuff she wants to share. We're delighted that you came to share with us, Marcy. Yeah, come stand up here and talk into the microphone.
Heard so much about Hanna, and I have more to tell. Yeah.
Do tell.
I tried to a little bit to get kind of what you say after for this. Anyhow, I will read some of it to you and try to make it understood. Hanna was born in Eastern Germany in October 1931. Her father was forced to join the German army in a war he detested and left his family, his wife, and two children early in Hanna's life. And can you imagine just walking? This is what happened in here. They had no vehicles. She walked. He walked from Germany to Russia to enter that war, which he hated. And I thought, in all the years he spent there, it must have been a gruesome time. After the war, he walked back to his home from Russia and continued to work in the grocery store his wife maintained during his absence. Not only did Hanna survive the war, life in her home area was so devastating. Her parents allowed her to walk to West Germany from her home to West Germany all alone. And she was just a teenager at this time. It seems like, can you imagine saying that to your teenage daughter, just to go out and walk? And I often wondered what they do. They must have, what'd you carry? Where'd you keep your stuff? I mean, to visualize this is hard for me, and hard to think of her mother and father having to do that to her. Or I said, did they want you to go? She says they never said. She said it was my decision, but they saw no future for me at all, they said, at this time. She did survive the war. Life, okay. Along the long walk, she met other people walking and was able to avoid most of the Russian soldiers, which was a scare all the way through as to running into Russian soldiers. And she was caught several times. I think even was incarcerated at a time. She told this story to me several times, and it just sounded so gruesome to have done this kind of thing. Finally, they reached her grandparents' home in West Germany. Situations in her grandmother's home weren't much better than her own home, so when the opportunity came to enter a child care program in England, she took the ferry and was greeted by a doctor who needed child care for his children. And this turned out to be a really good experience for Hanna. Not only did she have a place to stay, but she had children that she enjoyed, and she says they were wonderful to her. She really had a very interesting experience, and at the time that her time for babysitting with this family was completed, the doctor encouraged her to go into nurses training and helped her. She stayed in the home of this doctor, and she went to nurses training in this hospital that was near him with his supervision. And I think that was the blessing that really did a lot for Hanna. And she gave her a vocation and something to look forward to. The family was very good to Hanna. Okay. She completed the program and returned to Germany and eventually started working in a hospital. There she met her first husband. It's not clear whether they married in Germany or the United States, but they did settle down in Alabama after she came back to the United States, or the first time, but not back. She came back with her husband, where her son was born. Hanna spent a year finishing her nursing degree in the United States and later settled in Washington, D.C., and kept working as a nurse until retirement brought her to Morehead City, and she changed careers. She became one of the first yoga teachers in Morehead City. In fact, she had to go to California for training, as this area did not have them. Since moving to Morehead City, Hanna was one of the first members of Crystal Coast Unity. How she did love the church. When she moved to being near her son in Charlotte, she continued to connect to the church via the internet and called me most Sunday afternoons. And this was getting to be a joke with us, that she would be calling on Sunday afternoon. We made a point of making our connections with laughter and much love and discussed the messages of the morning. One of the most unique statements that was made. Now, what was that about? What did they say here? What did they say here? We never could remember. So I think that we had quite a few conversations of that. We laughed about it a lot. We made a point of making our connections with laughter. I looked forward to her calls, and when they suddenly stopped, I was concerned but could not make connections with the assisted living place. Several weeks later, her daughter-in-law called me and stated that Hanna had broken her hip in a fall and surgery followed. She never recovered from the fall and passed away at the hospital on March 8th. Hanna touched many of our lives. I remember so often when we would go out to eat, there'd be this little old couple that would come over and visit us. This was not too long ago, you know. Often they would stop and thank her for the yoga classes, and I realized how much those yoga classes were appreciated by these people. She was an inspiration, and I was so grateful to have known her. Okay.
Thanks, Marcy.
So now it's kind of like open mic night.
That was great.
And I want to invite anyone who would like to share to come up and share a story, an anecdote. Maybe you brought a reading, anything that you would like to do or share with our community. Everyone's welcome to share.
Okay.
Hey.
I will. I wore these pants because they were her favorite. She loved me wearing these pants.
And she got some like them.
Yes, she did.
That's precious.
Thank you, Kay. Who else? I know there are other people here that are just can't wait to read or say something. Or yes, please come up.
Yay, Sasha. The yoga mat.
So beautiful. Namaste, y'all. Namaste. Did anybody remember Hannah's t-shirt that said Namaste, y'all? And her license plate that said do yoga? She probably could have sold that. I don't know what happened to that license plate, but that was a good one. So I wonder how many people here knew Hanna from yoga class? Show of hands. A lot of people. A lot of people. Hanna touched so many people through her yoga teaching, and she touched me that way. I went to her class for the first time in 2005, probably, and by 2006, she asked me to help to teach the class, to sub, and then she encouraged me in 2007 to go to yoga school. And I don't know if I would have gone without Hanna's pushing, insistence. She was the wind beneath my wings. So that means so much to me, because I'm a yoga teacher today because of Hanna, really. But she was more than just a yoga teacher. She was my dear friend, and she truly cared about her friends. And Hanna would call you and stay up with you. And I learned how to be a better person for knowing Hanna. And she was a gift in my life, and I remember that a saying that God sends you mothers. And Hanna was one of those for me. So she meant so much to me. But and I'm so touched that Hanna and I can share the teachings of yoga together. And just seeing that clip of Hanna teaching class was beautiful, just to hear her voice again and to see her beautiful smile. And Hanna was a wonderful teacher. She had a way of reaching out to people that were intimidated by yoga classes. Men came to her yoga classes and enjoyed her yoga classes immensely. She could teach to young people. She could teach to older people. men, women. She taught, people felt welcomed in her class. And her classes were not easy. They were not especially easy, but they were available to everyone and open. And that was a gift that she gave. And she just had a way of putting people at ease. And so something that she gave, I am so blessed because I was a beneficiary of many of her books, probably all of her yoga books. And I'm so grateful for that gift. And one of them that she gave to me actually is called Meditations from the Mat. And it's by a very famous yoga teacher, Rolf Gates. And it's funny because Hanna bought me a new copy, and she was going to give it to me, I think, for Christmas or something like that. But she accidentally gave me the copy she already had. So, but I love that. I was so lucky. And it's falling apart because I've used it so much. It's a beautiful book if anyone's interested, Meditations from the Mat. But I love it because it has a passage underlined that Hanna felt was important. So I feel like kind of reading this passage is sort of reading something that touched Hanna's heart. So if I could share that with you. This comes under a quote from Swami Amar Jyoti. It says, each body is a universe, as good a universe as you could conceive. And that's really yoga. Yoga is working with the universe that is the body. And the passage she has underlined says, the postures and the breath form a bridge between the wisdom of the mind and the wisdom of the body. A divine spark is kindled, and the resulting fire is our spiritual transformation. So that's quite lovely, because I feel like that's what Hanna has done. And then I did ask the pastor's reverend's permission to share from the Bhagavad Gita, but I felt like since Hanna was a teacher, that it was relevant. And the Bhagavad Gita, of course, is perhaps the seminal book of yoga. The ancient. There's many ancient books of yoga, but the Bhagavad Gita is the central one. And interestingly, Gandhi and read it every single day, and it was his greatest teacher. And it spurred him on to lead people to freedom, lead his people, in India to freedom from oppression, because it does take place in a time of war. And people think, well, that's very strange that a book of yoga would take place in a time of war, but it's really metaphorical, and the battle is the field of life, right? I mean, and it's told in those times. So that would be something that was common. And so you think about the battle as just being life, living life, the good and the bad, the hard and the easy. And so it gives many beautiful teachings in it. But I wanted to go over what I really, and I had to find it today. Made me a little bit late, but I did. I found the passage. I was so glad. And it talks on the embodied self. The everlasting self, the self that does not die with the body, and the self that is universal within all selves. And so I thought I would just read a few passages, and then I'll pass the mic on to someone else. But so it starts out, these bodies come to an end, but the vast embodied self is ageless, fathomless, eternal. Therefore, you must fight, Arjuna. It never was born. Coming to be, it will never not be. Birthless, primordial. It does not die when the body dies. The sharpest sword will not pierce it. The hottest flame will not singe it. Water will not make it moist. Wind will not cause it to wither. It cannot be pierced or singed, moistened or withered. It is vast, perfect, all-pervading, calm, immovable, timeless. It is called the inconceivable, the unmanifest, the unchanging. If you understand it in this way, you have no reason for your sorrow. Even if you think the self is perpetually born and perpetually dies, even then, Arjuna, you have no reason for your sorrow. Death is certain for the born. For the dead, rebirth is certain. Since both cannot be avoided, you have no reason for your sorrow. Before birth, beings are unmanifest. Between birth and death, manifest. At death, unmanifest again. What cause for grief in all this? The self who dwells in the body is inviolable forever. Therefore, you have no cause to grieve for any being, Arjuna. Know what your body is and do it. Know what your duty is and do it without hesitation. For a warrior, there's nothing better than a battle that duty enjoins. Blessed are warriors who are given the chance of a battle like this, which calls them to do what is right and opens the gates of heaven. Again, the battle being the field of life. So I'd say that Hannah did well on the field because she touched so many hearts and minds, and she's in the gates of heaven, no doubt. So thank you. And lastly, since she was a yoga teacher, anyone who did class with yoga, did she do 3 ohms at the end of every class? Yes. Would you like to join me in 3 ohms for Anna? Yeah? Okay. Let's inhale. Namaste. Thank you.
Do we have anyone online that wanted to share anything? Y'all can raise your virtual hand. Oh, I see Sep. Let's spotlight him.
Okay.
Hey, Sep.
Yes. I really am grateful to hear that awesome German song because it connected me with Anna. It reminded me of the times that I had conversations with her in German. And I can see how those words in that song can come from Hannah. So I really felt connected, and I felt tears in my eyes. And it was, I'm just really grateful to hear that. And not only hear that, I'm grateful that when Hannah gave me the gift of speaking German with me. So I'm really grateful. Something that I will always remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Sep. Anyone else online or in the sanctuary have something they want to share? Because we have space. Reverend Catherine, I see that you're unmuted. I think you need to share something.
Well, it's not any big thing, but it was just something that I remember so well because it was so Hannah. She was an indomitable spirit, as you know. She didn't give up ground easily. And but her eyesight began to go bad. I would say to her, Hannah, don't you want us to bring you groceries, do some grocery shopping for you? And she said, oh, no, I can still grocery shop. And I said, well, how do you get there? And she said, well, I drive. And I said, you what? She said, well, it's only to Walmart. And I said, Hannah, I'm afraid to drive in the Walmart parking lot. I don't know why that is the first thing that comes to mind is that little conversation, but she was something else. That's all I got to say. That teenager who walked across the border to West Germany was still in there.
Great story, Reverend Catherine. Thank you. Christy, we want to come up and share? Thank you.
I haven't planned on saying anything, but Hannah was just somebody that let's put it this way. I can very quickly have a pity party, okay? I mean, it doesn't take a lot for me to start feeling sorry for myself. And then I'll talk to Hannah, and I'm like, oh. But even when I shared things, I've been going through cleaning. I'm doing spring cleaning that has been put off for 25 years. I've never lived in a place as long as I have now. And so every time I moved, I would get rid of things, but I haven't been doing that. But I found a couple things from my grandmother, and she was a Christian Scientist. And one of the things that she had taught me as a child was what you were talking about with the wheel and all the spokes, and how there's a distance up here, but in the center, they all say the same things. But I was also reading her something else, and it just kind of got to me, because she could almost take anything I was talking about, and we would compare, for instance, what my grandmother had talked about with Christian Science, with what we learned at Unity, with what Buddhism teaches, what's in, all these different things. And we just had so much fun in realizing where everything comes together. And I was telling her that I'm in AA. I've been in there for many, many years. And I had they believe in a power greater than yourself, power of your own understanding. And that understanding can be very varied, and I sponsor a lot of people. And I was telling her that somebody I really liked a lot, that his higher power, he called gravity. And she said, right away, oh, I get it. It's like the glue that holds everything together in place where it's supposed to be, And she just had a way like that of putting things into perspective. And the other thing I wanted to say is I've run across people all over in AA meetings who suddenly will say, Hannah? Oh, I know Hannah. I went to yoga with Hannah. Young people and old people. And Edward Jones, where she did her investments. I used to work for Edward Jones in Raleigh, one thing and another. But talking about her eyesight that Catherine just said, reminded me, she after she moved to her son's and was in the little place on his property, and she was pretty lonely. It was all during COVID, and she couldn't walk out by herself. She needed somebody and wasn't getting along. Anyway, they hired somebody to clean her house, and it turned out that she had that same kind of rapport with this person. And so she didn't, like she said, her daughter-in-law would say, this woman didn't even clean the windows like I told her to. And Hannah would just laugh and say, I can't see out the window. What difference does it make? She enjoyed just sitting with the woman and having the company. And that was typical Hannah. That was what was important to her, was the one-on-one and the communication with people. And I did her taxes for years and years. And I can't tell you, doing people's taxes can be a real pain in the neck, because doing anything with the IRS can be a pain in the neck. And then you seem to be the messenger. And so when they don't send you the refund or everything, you go to the person that did your taxes, and it's like, what's going on? It wasn't ever like that with her. I mean, everything was funny. It could have been so difficult, because with her eyesight, it was hard for her to get things together for me. But everything was fun. Everything, no matter what pain she was going through. And we talked for a long time after she moved away and moved to the assisted living. So, I'll be honest with you, I get so many weird phone calls that I don't answer the phone a lot. I wait and see if somebody's leaving a message, or if I hear a voice message or something, because I just don't want to pick it up. But when I look and see it's from Hannah, it's like I can't get there fast enough. So none of this is really saying that much, but it's just my way of sharing my love for Hannah, and I hope it meant something to you.
Thank you, Christy.
Who else would like to share today? Anyone online? Anyone here? Someone has written a very long message in the chat, and I can't see all of it. Who wrote that?
Lisa wants to speak, and while we do that, we'll catch up.
Lisa, come on up.
Can I just stay right here? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, we can in the room, but the people online cannot.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well, as you know, Hannah was unbelievably wonderful, and her life was always unusual, and she did a great job. But what I wanted to say was I got to talk to Hannah often while she was up in her different places, and I didn't know until today that I probably talked to her about a week before she passed. And when I talked to her, I just want people to know she was the most upbeat and seemed the best that I had experienced in talking with her in a very long time. And this was before she'd taken the fall, of course. So I too want to say that I think if Hannah wanted you all to know something, it's that she is in bliss now, and she is having a wonderfully joyous time in this new adventure that we could not even imagine. But she's in joy. And I feel that is the truth of what she is feeling now, and wants us all to know that she feels love beyond anything that she ever felt here in this realm. Although no doubt she's got a lot of love from this realm, but it's even more in the higher realm. So that's what I'm here to share. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm going to try to read what Brian has posted in the chat for us. I was blessed to know the love and energy that took human form as Hannah. I always loved how she made me feel every time we talked. My selfish side will miss her and
miss her voice and wisdom and smile.
You keep reading that for us, Catherine, because it's too far away.
Her energy always felt like home. 2 or 3 years ago, I had my daughter teach me how to sing Happy Birthday in German so we could sing it to her on Zoom. It was a small gift that I could give to her to show her how much she was loved.
Thanks for reading that. And Brian, thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful. Anyone else online or anyone here? Come on, Karen. Come share with us.
When the Holy Spirit speaks, I try to listen. Lisa opened the door. As we sat here, last time I was here, many years ago, we were doing the same tribute for another person that left this planet. And as we sit here today, he says to me, I got her, we're having a game time. So that's all I'm saying. They're having fun wherever they are.
Anyone else? We're going to get ready and play another song from Deidrey right now. It was Hannah's greatest concern that she would be forgotten, that she would not be celebrated. And so in this eternal place where she is now playing games and she is experiencing joy and she knows love like she could never experience here. Remember her. Every time you do a sun salutation, every time you say namaste, she is now one with the oneness, with the Christ, with Krishna, with whatever name you want to use for the deities. She is there, and she is loving each and every one of you. So, Kath, will you play that song for us now?
Hang on. Stephanie Kaplan has something.
Thank you.
She says that Hannah brought joy to everywhere, to everyone she met. And she brought up every time. Brought us up.
Brought us up every time.
Brought us
Beautiful.
up every time.
Thanks, Stephanie. Let's play that song.
Get ready, my soul. I am diving in. Get ready, my soul. Oh, I am diving in to the deepest kind of love and the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. Oh, I am diving in. Get ready, my soul. Oh, I am diving in to the deepest kind of love and the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or I've won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to this present moment, here to one new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. Oh, I am diving in. Get ready, my soul. Oh, I am diving in to the deepest kind of love and the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Are you ready to go with me? Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go. Deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. ready, my soul? I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. Oh yes, I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love and the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. Whoa, whoa, get ready, my soul.
So if it's comfortable for you, I invite you to stand up right now. And that way is north, and so I invite you to face the west. The direction of the setting sun. And lift your arms up. Chest open, heart open. And say, very good, yay. Together. Very good, yay. Hanna is the light. Hanna is love. Hanna is power. Hanna is protection. Where Hanna is, God is. And all is well. Namaste, friends. Thank you for coming to celebrate the life and the love of Hanna Coe. May her blessing be a memory. And for those of you here in the sanctuary, we've got lots of snacks out there. Please have some fellowship with us. Those that joined us online, thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much, Reverend Catherine, for being a part of today's service. And thank you, Sepp and Brian, for those beautiful shares. We love you. And we miss you.